Hey guys, I'm coming to you today with Storytime. I have been following the Watts case like so many other people are because it is intriguing. And I think I am mesmerized by it because Chris Watts reminds me a lot of my ex-husband. My ex-husband reminds me so much of Chris Watts. They even almost look alike. It's scary. I'm coming on to tell you guys about those kind of people and what I had to deal with. And this was my relationship. And I don't know if Shannon dealt with things behind closed doors that she didn't tell anybody. But I can tell you that he reminds me a lot of my ex-husband. And it's scary. My ex-husband tried to kidnap my children that weren't even his. And I'm lucky to have gotten out of that relationship. So let's get into it. I met my ex-husband back in 2006, and I liked him. He was attractive. I was single at the time, and so I decided to start dating him. And don't get me wrong, he was nice, he was great. Would do anything for me. But he also was kind of a little standoffish, quiet, and a little bit reserved. I didn't really think anything of that. He was very nice, like I said in the beginning, but then he started to get upset when I wanted to go somewhere without him or do something without him, or he would call my phone 20 or 30 times if he couldn't get a hold of me. And then he would start to follow me. And he followed me lots of places. And it scared me, it did. And yes, I ended up marrying this man. I think a lot of it was because I was afraid I was never going to get away from that man. And a lot of people were like, you should have just left, you should have blah, 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 blah. Well, you know what? When you're in a relationship like that and it's abusive, it's hard. It's really hard. We got married. And he was good for the first 3-4 months, and then I busted him cheating on me with another girl from work. And instead of feeling sad, sorry, or remorseful about it, he threw out the transmission in our car, being angry, tore up our house, and it was my fault. Like, and it wasn't, but that's how he made it out to be. So we split up, and in that time we split up, he said he was sorry. They always say they're sorry. There were so many things that happened. I'm just trying to think of everything. Like, he would break my cell phone when we get in an argument. He would just snap. He'd be great, and then he would just snap. It was like, he was two different people. It was just super scary. He never really did anything in front of my children or anyone else, so people thought I was crazy and that I was lying. You're just making it up. No, it wasn't just making it up. Not at all. As the relationship progressed, he would be fine and then go to sleep because he worked third shift, and he'd wake up and I would never know what kind of mood he would be in. Well, guess what? One day he was in this mood when he woke up, and I had his dinner ready because I was afraid. And he woke up, and I don't know what triggered him, but he just looked at me. He's like, I don't love you anymore. I don't want to be with you. Oh, okay. So I went to work that night, and that night I went to work. It was, you're ugly. No one wants you. No one will ever be with you. They just want you because, you're a whore and blah, blah. No, I'm not. I was faithful to him. I loved him. Then he decided he was going to have me come over and talk. So I came back to the house and talked. My kids aren't there at the time. They were with their dad. They're not his. They were with their dad. And he sat there and talked to me and convinced me once more to work it out. He'll never do it again. He'd never do it again. Well, Then we got home and things were going fine for a few months. And one day we came in from going to the store and he just flipped the script, and I don't know what pissed him off. I really don't. But I turned around and he was just like dead cold eyes. Just like those Chris Watt eyes. Dead cold. And he's like, I love you. I don't want to be with you anymore. Fine. Whatever. That's fine. Well, as soon as I said that, that pissed him off. He decided he was going to put his hand on me. He threw me on the ground and started choking me. And until I passed out from him choking me, he just kept choking me. And then once he was done choking me and I passed out and I stopped moving, I was just laying there. And when I came to, he was beating the walls, blaming me, saying, see what you made me do, putting holes in our walls. And we had a rental, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. So I get up and I run out of the house, and he runs up after me, and I'm like, oh my God. So I got out of the house, I called 911, he took off with my car and went to Michigan. I couldn't find him. He came back after he checked himself into a rehab for depression and whatever, and was like, I fixed myself. 6 months later, I fixed myself. I'm better. I promise you I won't ever let this happen again. Things were good for a year. Once again, I made dinner, don't know what happened, got up for work, and he just snapped again. And he decided, I don't love you, I don't want to be with you, fine. I'm going over to my friend's house for the night. My niece was living with us. She had my kids. He wouldn't be there. I didn't want to be in the house. It was hostile. Long story short, he didn't like that. Called my phone all night long. I wouldn't answer. Just wanted it to cool down. Nope, didn't cool down for him. He called me and he's like, all right, that's fine, bitch. You don't want to be with me? Guess what? I'm going to take your kids. My niece called me crying, screaming. I left. I got in my car, called the police. I said, look, this man is going to take my kids. I don't know what I'm going to do. Police got there. My kids were in a room locked with my niece. He was on my laptop, acting like nothing ever happened, had the windows locked, the doors locked, but the windows were open, and they had a slider on them. And the police are like, sir, you need to open up the door. He just acted like none of us were there. They're like, sir, you need to open up the door. We're going to break it down. Finally, he gets up. He opens the door, throws my ring at me, and right in front of the cop says, bitch, I'm going to kill you. Really? Guess what? He went to jail. While he was in jail, the next day he decided to call my phone 50 times from prison. 50 times he called my phone. Had a no contact order. So needless to say, we went to court about a month later. He got no time served because he had called my phone 50 times while he was told not to. For kidnapping charges and for battery and abuse. We were married. He gives me this horrible look. The judge calls him back after sentencing him and says, look, sir, I see you. I know what you're going to do when you get out. He was like, no time served for you. You get 30 more days. And I'm not even going to lie to you. He went to prison for 1.5 years, and guess what? He still didn't leave me alone. And to this day, he still doesn't leave me alone. He went to Florida for 1.5 years after he got out of prison to get away from me. We did get divorced in 2012. I am remarried. I am happily married to a wonderful man who is 10 times different than my ex-husband. My kids, they were young, so it's good. We're all better now. I've been with my husband for 8 years, been married for 5, and I'm just glad that I don't have to go through that anymore, and I hope no one ever has to go through anything like that again. But when I see Chris Watts, I see my ex-husband, and it's disgusting and it's scary, and I think that could have been me and my 2 girls. And I feel bad for Shannon, I really do, because I know Chris Watts. I was married to a Chris Watts. So I hope that my message gets out and lets people know, please just be careful. I mean, watch who you're dating, who you're with. Watch those red signs. Get out right away. Don't be stupid like I was. Well, I hope this was informational. I hope you enjoyed my story. I'm going to have more things coming. Like I said, this is my personal blog, so enjoy your day, and hopefully you like this. Like it, share, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks.